Hello and welcome to our episode of FinTech Focus TV with me, Toby Babb. We are here today at the FIX EMEA Trading Conference in London. I'm joined by the squad from OneChronos. How are you guys?
Good, thank you. Thank you for speaking to us.
So it's lovely to have you back on. Adam, for the first time, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Let's start with brief intros. So Scott, Adam, tell us a little bit about yourselves and the business.
Yeah, so Scott Bradley, I head up OneChronos Markets UK, and we are currently in the midst of looking to launch a new MTF, both in the UK and in Amsterdam, and that's where Adam comes in.
Into stage left.
Yeah, so I'm the Dutch parallel to Scott, sitting in Amsterdam, heading up OneChronos Markets NL as part of our upcoming pan-European equities launch.
So we spoke about a year or so ago, and this was the sort of evolution of the business, and it was all very exciting at that sort of stage. Since then, you guys have been everywhere, and I know we spoke about it a little bit beforehand, but I've seen the sort of growth. It's been a massively exciting thing. We're going to come on to that in a minute, but first and foremost, we're here at FIX. Always one of my favourite events every single year. We always catch up with each other. Tell us a little bit about some of the things that you guys have seen this morning, and that's interesting for you guys.
Yeah, I can't believe it's a year since we last chatted on this. FIX is always a great event, brings together the largest number of participants in the industry in one place. So it's a fantastic opportunity to catch up. I think what's caught my eye and my attention this morning, I don't know about you, Adam, but was listening to the regulators on the regulatory panel talking about building a regulatory framework to foster innovation. Now, it's no surprise to you, I constantly talk about the difference between progression in the marketplace, making those small changes in the same direction versus looking to try and bring innovation to the market, where you do actually try and take things in a slightly different direction with new, better, improved outcomes, which is certainly what we're about at OneChronos. So to hear the regulators themselves amongst each other talk about building a landscape, a platform, an environment to foster innovation, that certainly caught my attention.
It's always good to hear when you get the validation from it as well.
Absolutely. But Adam, I mean, how about yourself?
I would echo everything you say there. I think an additional topic, which very much is a topic close to our heart at the moment, was discussion around data accessibility. Data on a reasonable commercial basis is particularly prudent for us because we are both a price forming venue, but equally trying to give customers the ability to peg liquidity and use prevailing market prices. So to hear progression of regulatory dialogue towards making sure that a new market data framework that's more commercially friendly, more standardized, all tied in with the launch of the consolidated tape as well, is very encouraging for us, moving in the right direction, one we hope to see enforced over the coming months.
And obviously a lot of noise this year about the consolidated tape and what that means for the industry as well.
Yeah.
So we mentioned before about the business. A year ago, it was very new over here, and it was that sort of eager anticipation. A lot's happened over the last year. So give us a rapid recap of where we sit today.
Yeah, it has been a very busy, exciting year indeed. So OneChronos, as you know, we launched an ATS just over 3 years ago, about 3.5 years ago, trading equity-like products in the US markets. It's been a gangbusters year. In fact, this week, very timely, we just had our record trading day where filled shares equal 260 million shares on a single day on the platform. Put that into context, because in Europe we like notional. Notional, that's $17.8 billion of ADVT in a single periodic. So I think I'm in safe territory saying that's probably the largest periodic auction in the world, which is a great strapline to take away.
There's our hero tag for the episode.
I mean, as you know, and as we mentioned previously, we have a fantastic tailwind of support from both the buy side, sell side, the market making liquidity provision market in the US, and we're hoping to bring that to Europe. And Adam, I know, is going to talk a little bit about that in a moment. So fantastic continued hyper-growth activity in the US. Exciting news, we're now formally a top 10 venue according to FINRA in the ATS rankings, so we're number 9 venue. I think volume adjusted and rising. Volume adjusted, that puts us somewhere around about 1.5 5% of the US market, volume adjusted, removing the auctions, the close, etc. Somewhere of that magnitude. So a lot of room to grow still, but a fantastic trajectory of growth thus far. And it only fuels the excitement for what we're looking to bring to Europe. Yeah. But before Adam maybe talks about that, other exciting news this month, we're bringing the OneChronos smart market model using periodic auctions and combinatorial auction theory to the FX market. FX, G10 Spot FX, launches this month in March. So very, very exciting time for us, a new multi-asset product launch, and it's a stepping stone to expansion plans for what we're doing in Europe and other products that we can talk about soon.
And that multi-asset piece is a really interesting play, isn't it? Because it's not, there's the debate between, staying niche and moving through. I guess your strategy's always been about sort of growth, both internationally, asset class strategy-wise. Yeah. It makes it a really interesting play for you, doesn't it?
Absolutely. One of the products we've talked about previously is expressive bidding, adding trading constraints as a layer on a single stock, a pairs, or a portfolio optimization, either within equities or multi-asset, and having the ability to trade cross-regionally, multi-asset is powerful, and it's the future of capital markets. But excitingly for us here in the audience today is our European expansion plans.
Yeah, and that's a great way to bring you in. So
yes,
talk to us all things Europe.
So FX is kind of the first stepping stone for us towards being beyond just a US equity venue operator. And then very shortly following it, first half of this year, we're looking to be live with pan-European equities with our 2 MTF structure, one out of the Netherlands and one out of the UK. We have our authorization in the UK. We hope maybe even by the time this is out, but we feel like we're pretty close to our authorization in the Netherlands and are looking at a Q2 launch. We have our technology is ready. We're installed in our data center. We have clients connecting and testing. I think from a principal perspective, we feel like it's a really good time for us to enter the market. Periodic auctions are still one of the in vogue discussion points, one of the growing segments. Record year and last year, following up from a record year the prior year, people are really understanding how to get the most out of those type of order books. But equally, by understanding them better, I think there's a greater understanding of maybe where we fit in a different place to those, by nature of people having so many more interactions with them and using them more broadly. So we feel like we have really good tailwinds out of the US, but also a reasonably good market understanding of where our product sits and why it's a little bit different, to hopefully have a positive launch when we get going in a quarter's time. Let's say
that's probably one of the things that people are grabbing us most whilst we're here today, is to say, super excited. It's been a lot of work to get to this stage. How can we do more with you, with what we've got, and in terms of smart order routing logics? How can we optimize working with OneChronos? And that's the exciting part.
Expand on that. What does that look like? So when people are asking you that question, what's some of the things that you guys are saying to that?
Well, Adam was alluding to it. It's periodic auctions are now mainstream. 15% of the market in Europe is attributable to periodic auctions. People understand how that fits in their current existing workflow, but the incumbent mechanisms have done a fantastic job of becoming mainstream, but we feel that we're bringing something a little bit different and bringing a different market model. And if you remember from our previous conversations, not a price time priority mechanism, but a solving for a different benchmark, which is notional price improvement to share equitably that utility within the pool. And because it's something different and a different mechanism by design within a periodic construct, means that it can be placed elsewhere within the smart routing logics and considered as a liquidity destination, not just another periodic auction. Is that how you describe it?
Definitely. I think the market cares most about what trading experience can I expect. And we can talk theoretically about this at this point because we know how the market's been designed and the trading experience that clients get in the US. But it's all about trying to align expectations with how they want to route orders to give them, allow them to unlock the most from OneChronos once it's here. And I think we're on the, on the journey of trying to collaborate with a lot of these market participants in how best to integrate us, potentially in ways that's a little bit different to how they integrate to other types of venues because of the experience we can forecast hopefully them receiving.
Yeah. I think there's two sort of main tags that came out from a lot of the conversations following our conversation at the start last year that pops up in a lot of the other episodes of FinTech Focus TV afterwards, and I kept on sort of mentioning, name-checking it back to you from it all. One of them was about innovation in the space, and the various views on that, and I had various different people coming from different angles about it. Some people are saying, there's loads of innovation. Some people said there's no innovation, it's evolution, etc., etc. And I know you've got a soapbox to stand on that particular topic. The other piece was this move from speed to quality, or speed and quality, and various bits and pieces around there. Has there been any evolution in thoughts around that for both of you have seen over the last year or so?
I wouldn't say it has been an evolution. I would say we're seeing a continuation of support for what we are looking to deliver and what we're looking to bring to the market. So, well remembered, quality over speed. That's definitely something we want people to think of and become synonymous with OneChronos. We are democratizing access to liquidity through a mechanism that by design protects the investor community, the trading community, in that search for liquidity. And ultimately, this is what it's about. We're trying to foster an environment that genuinely is all-to-all, in an environment that people understand, periodic auctions, that are mainstream. The lift to integrate OneChronos is minimal because it's a well-worn workflow that's FIX 4.2 into a London-based LD4 data center. So actually, it's just about explaining what that difference is. And the differentiated market model, solving for notional price improvement through combinatorial auction theory, optimizing for that single clearing price, aligned with some of the other mechanism by design, it's a story and a journey that we're able to point to the results from the US, those tailwinds that Adam talks about, is a data point that we can leverage, but trust is earned and we need to deliver here locally. And so hopefully with the support Adam was talking about from the subscriber base, we can do that together collaboratively through customization, conversation and routing discussion. So it's really more of a continuation of that discussion from last year.
I completely agreed. I think we have on the evolution, revolution topic, one of the things that probably we have a lot less of a conversation point now, but had a lot more 1.5 to 2 years ago was, hey, we have quite a lot of fragmentation in Europe. There is a lot of similar destinations where I can get similar outcomes, and that's really hard to navigate because to go to one, I have to have the opportunity cost of not being in another, and my goal is to get the trading experience I'm looking for. And I think what's really key for us, and something that is definitely resonating with the market, is fragmentation isn't always a bad thing. Fragmentation comes it is also a consequence of innovation. It's also a consequence of giving people genuine choice versus trading experiences that are out there already. And so the whole sort of evolution or very small iterative differences between venues sometimes is the reason that fragmentation between trading venues gets a lot of scrutiny, because people have to maintain a lot of technology and a lot of challenge to navigate that liquidity. And I think we're hopefully bringing and starting to see some of the narrative change around fragmentation can really be a positive thing if it brings me genuine choice. And that comes down to evolution, revolution, a new model coming to the market that fits a subset of liquidity in a different way than the incumbent venues to visit do.
I think that's what's so exciting about what you guys have been doing and why I've had such a keen eye on it. I think it's a clever take on what we're talking about. It is evolution in terms of where you're going. It's genuinely not blowing smoke, but it's a great team, and that's the other side of it. And when you put those things together, it does that, and you can see that in the data and the story and the growth that you're seeing at the moment. So it's a great. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens when you speak on this again in another year's time.
Yeah,
Hopefully
we
have
look
lots
forward
of
to
liquidity to report back on.
yes, some European data of our own to discuss and share.
Yeah, it's going to be.
But I mean, look, it's a lot of work to get this far, but it's been fun, and I think hopefully that will also come through in the experience that customers, that subscribers have working with us to onboard and take this to the next level of the journey.
This sounds fantastic. Listen, guys, thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Adam,
Thank you very much for having us.
great debut.
Thank you.
And thank you all for watching. We will see you soon on the next episode of FinTech Focus TV. Thanks a lot.